Welcome back to another episode.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Like he said, welcome back to another Yappisode. Welcome back to another Yappisode of the Daily Yap. This is Yappisode 30. We coming up in the world. Yappisode 30. We hit 22,000 subscribers last night while we was on live. So shout out to y'all for that. Definitely very appreciative. So now we can finally say, hit the like button if you're on your way in, whether you're on your way out. Who knows? Please don't be on your way out. It's way too soon. But if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the sub button because we are officially on our way to 23,000 subscribers now. So it is growing very fast. Thank y'all for being a part of the Yap community. Thank y'all for the ones who may have been a part of the community since day one, whether it was on YouTube day one, whether it is now, Yappisode 30 and it's your first time listening. So I appreciate it. Bro, what just happened to my camera, bro? Oh my gosh. 1 second. This is annoying, bro. Okay. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But like I was saying, thank y'all for the ones that have been here from day one. And all the way to maybe if you just joined today for the first time on Yappisode 30. So wherever you chose to join during this journey, it could have been TikTok. Maybe you were one of the first few followers on TikTok. Maybe you were one of the most recent. Who knows, man? But I just appreciate y'all for listening because this is for sure fun. And I guess everything happens for a reason because y'all definitely were saying this should have happened last year. And I was definitely stalling. But here we are. What's going on? And so also, if you knew, I literally took pictures of the map right before we was going on live. So that way I can pull it up on here. So that way people can see close up if your state or country is being represented. And I have a pin for you because I want to make sure I have a pin for absolutely everybody in every landmark possible. That is the game plan. That is the goal. However, it's dead. It literally died 2 seconds before we started on live. So a lot of technical difficulties going on. Clearly don't know what's going on, but either way, still drop your pin, still drop your state. Not your pin. I need to drop the pin. Drop your state, drop your country, wherever you're listening from, especially if you're new. The ones that have already been listening, y'all already know. I probably already got you up here. But if you're new, you haven't done it yet, drop your pin, drop your state, drop your country so I can drop a pin for you. But yes, we have a lot to talk about. Of course, that's why we're here. We have a lot to talk about. A lot is going on. One of the biggest things that we are going to focus on is Erika's speech at the Educators Summit. Some of y'all have probably seen a lot of clips today from it. She had some type of appearance either last night or today there, and she said a lot of crazy things. But I think that we should watch it together because clips can you can see a lot of clips and stuff like that. But I really just want to watch the whole thing versus the clips. So we're gonna watch it together. I haven't really watched much of it outside of maybe 2 clips I saw on X. So that is definitely going to be the main thing that we talk about tonight once we get through some of the, housekeeping things such as Donkey of the Day and things of that nature. So Pennsylvania, I would definitely check on you. I feel like I got one up there, but also that might be a good one. You might be the first Pennsylvania. So yes, we will be talking about that speech today, see what she had to say, because it's definitely some crazy things from the clips that I saw, from the clips that I saw. She said some interesting things. So let's hop straight into it. Thank y'all again for joining. Welcome back to another episode of the Daily App, Yappisode 30. The first thing we always go through to just start the day off right. You got to start off with a donkey of the day. Just some things that truly make you laugh throughout the day. And I can't even lie to y'all, I have been laughing since yesterday about Brandon Tatum, and I have to play it again just because I truly have it just amazes me. So he is the first one. Again, Brandon Tatum has the honor of being back-to-back two-time donkey of the day. You might be the first one in history, brother. You might be. It's been no. Lisa for sure has had she's gone like 3 to 4 times platinum donkey of the day. So yeah, Brandon Tatum, you may not be up there with Lisa. Lisa kind of in the Hall of Fame for donkey of the days. But Brandon Tatum, you getting up there, bro. You're getting up there. Because this clip of him trying to debunk the exploding mic theory is just hilarious. It's golden. So I want to play. I don't even want to play that because I wanted to play some more of the video of his actual video of him talking about it. But I'm not even gonna give him that much energy. Let's just play his 2-minute and 30-second clip of him debunking his theory. But first and foremost, the first donkey of the day candidate goes to the man himself, Brandon Tatum. So without further ado, let's let Brandon Tatum take it away as far as debunking the exploding mic theory. And if you haven't seen this yet, please buckle up. It's going to be real interesting.
Stupid, evil, or both. If you think after watching Charlie Kirk's
Lisa's donkey of the century, that's funny.
assassination, that a lapel mic killed him. Let me show you what the lapel mic that Charlie Kirk had on his person was. We use the same stuff. It has a magnetic clip on the back.
I just fell, so please forgive me. That's crazy.
Evil or both. If you think after watching Charlie Kirk's assassination that a lapel mic killed him. Let me show you what the lapel mic that Charlie Kirk had on his person was. We use the same stuff. It has a magnetic clip on the back. Charlie had it on his shirt, which was here or here. Therefore, if it's on his shirt here and not clipped here, it's held together with a magnet. If you are stupid enough to think that this killed Charlie by doing this, it explodes, and the bullet comes around here, it goes right here. What munition?
Here's my thing, though. Here's my thing. Let's just say he truly does not believe in the exploding mic theory. And he truly is trying to debunk it. He has to understand that nobody in the history of human beings and mankind is saying that the mic exploded here and the bullet curved around and hit him in the neck. He has to understand that. He has to be trolling. There's no way that he thinks that that's what we think. That's the funny part about it. Is like even him trying to explain this stupid idiot type debunking, he's not even making sense. I'm like, bro, at least make a little sense out of it when you're trying to debunk people. But the fact that he thinks that we think that the exploding mic theory means it explodes and the bullet curves around and hits him in the neck is crazy.
Could have came out of this thing. And the bullet comes around here, it goes right here. What munition could have came out of this thing? You think it's a 223? Which is standard 223. Allegedly, it was a 30-06, which is massively bigger than this. This won't fit in this box here.
He said this won't fit. This bullet won't fit in the box. What do you got, bro? And he's so for real. He's so
heavy,
for real.
massively bigger than this. This won't fit
He's so for real.
in this box here. It's heavy. You think Charlie Kirk would have got a mic and been like, yeah, put a mic on me. And the magnet is going to hold it together with gunpowder and munition in it. And if the thing blew up, you will see a big hole in Charlie's shirt because of whatever explosive powder came out of it. You will see shrapnel hit Charlie in the face. And there's no way that some projectile that's flat on your chest like this is going to somehow travel out and around and hit you in the neck over here. Impossible. And also, if this exploded from somebody's chest, everybody standing next to Charlie Kirk would have been like, everybody in the shooting turned and looked where they saw the shot fired. Because if you...
No, they did, bro. What are you talking about? Nobody did that. No, the shot didn't happen, and everybody turned and looked at the Losi Center. What? That is crazy. I think this exposes him. Like, I think this one video, we already had speculations that Brandon Tatum was getting paid. We already knew that. We knew he was taking a check. But this has to be the ultimate, like, you snitched on yourself, bro. This proves, I mean, he's probably proved it 1,000 times, to be honest. But this right here is like, oh, yeah, you for sure get paid because you don't even know what you're talking about when you're trying to debunk. You're just making up stuff. When everybody turned and looked at the Losi Center, who told you that? No, nobody turned and looked at the Losi Center. Matter of fact, everybody did exactly what you just said that didn't happen. Everybody looked at Charlie and said, oh, that's literally what happened, or ducked. He's talking about everybody turned and looked at the Losi Center.
Everybody in the shooting turned and looked next to Charlie Kirk. If this exploded from somebody's chest, everybody standing next to Charlie Kirk would have been like,
that's literally what happened. That's literally what happened, bro.
Everybody in the shooting turned and looked where they saw the shot fired. Because if you really care about Charlie and you claim you liked him and you claim you're a big Charlie fan or whatever you want to claim, then you would methodically take into consideration legitimate investigations, legitimate claims. And I promise you, some of the people that you've been listening to, you're going to realize were deceiving you either through ignorance or intentionally deceiving you because they rather make it sexy by saying it's all this conspiracy than to be honest about the fact that it was a nut job, trans adjacent weirdo that was hypnotized with hatred and decided to kill Charlie Kirk.
Wow, bro. Amazing. Amazing, Brandon Tatum. Great debunking. That is just an amazing perspective that I didn't even think of. I had no idea bullets could even do that. But you made me think of that. That could be a possibility. This just proves that he gets paid to. Y'all also realize he didn't mention Candace. He's talking about Candace this whole time, but he didn't mention Candace. And he hasn't actually talked about the Charlie Kirk investigation in a while or mentioned Candace. And we talked about that last episode, so I don't want to hit on that for too long. But I just found it interesting that he chose to come back around and talk about this exploding mic theory when it's been out for months. People have been talking about this exploding mic theory since September. And he's never said anything until Candace said it. And then his bosses said, I need you to get out there. There's been some type of exploding mic theory that Candace dropped today on her show. It's been talked about before, obviously. And we need you to go out there and debunk something. Brandon Tatum, with absolutely no research into what has actually been uncovered with this exploding mic theory, he didn't look into it at all. And he just said, okay, I got you. I'm going to get out there and wing it. Then I'll debunk it. And that's what it sounds like. That was the dumbest debunking. Like that honestly was worse than any Lisa video I've ever heard of in my life. Lisa has said some crazy things before, but I don't even think Lisa would come out and say something like that. I don't. Oh my gosh. And then the crazy part about these people too is for the people that believe that it was Tyler Robinson and he acted alone and it was just this, whatever they love to say, transgender furry. They love to say that. I don't even know why what's up with the furry part. I don't know. I'm not into all of that. So I don't know why people say that. But my thing is, let's just say you believe in that. The few people that are on that side. Do y'all not has anybody on that side came up with another theory besides Tyler Robinson acting alone? Not a single person, not one singular person have they came out and said, you know what? I think Tyler might have had somebody working with him. Maybe instead of one transgender furry, it was 3 of them. Don't y'all want to capture them all? Since y'all love talking about the leftists and the transgender furries, what if it was 1 to 2 to 3 transgender furries? I never heard a single person come out and say, hey, I mean, maybe Tyler was talking to somebody else and maybe somebody helped him. Maybe Tyler Robinson driving into that plaza parking lot and waited for somebody on camera. And then that car randomly came in and he pulled off again. Hey, maybe that was another transgender furry. I've never heard a single person on the Tyler Robinson side that thinks it was just him ever come out and say, you know what, he could have actually worked with somebody else. That don't mean you're automatically pointing at our greatest ally, which is really our greatest enemy. But that doesn't mean that you're pointing at them. It's just like, can you come up with other theories that could be a possibility? Can we not all agree that Lance Twiggs is weird? Is that something that y'all also have to commit to, that Lance Twiggs is normal? That's something that y'all have to push? Not a single one of y'all could come out and say, you know what? Lance Twiggs' behavior is pretty weird. How can we not all be in agreement on that? You can be for Tyler Robinson, but how do y'all not come together and say, you know what? Maybe Lance Twiggs did work with him too. None of them ever say that. Matter of fact, Brandon Tatum said the other day that Lance Twiggs is the perfect person to testify or whatever it was against Tyler Robinson. And I'm just like, this is just I don't know. It's just so crazy how every single person that's for Tyler Robinson has the same exact theory. But yet they're going to say us and everybody else that is coming up with different things on their own, they're going to say we're in a cult. When in actuality, we're all coming up with our own different theories that doesn't match cult-like behavior. Y'all all think the exact same and say the exact same things, and nobody has their own thoughts. But yet they're going to point at everybody else and say, we're all in cult, like we're in a cult, candy cult, all this other stuff. And I'm like, I can probably name a million people, not a million, but I can probably name a lot of things that all of us have been like, Candace, I don't know about that. That don't really make any sense. I disagree with that. That's not what cults do. But what cults do, you do. That was some terrible English. Well, what cults do look like is what Brandon Tatum and Lisa and some others are doing, the Shalami Soldiers, the Widow Warriors, where they come out and defend Erika and the narrative 100% of the time. There is nothing that they would ever come out and say otherwise. And it's just, I don't know, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. But let's get to the meat of the content because we have to have time to watch it. So I don't want to spend too much time. And the last thing I will say, though, make sure y'all go watch the what is it called? The footage, I guess you could say it. It has been released of the Camilla Anthony and the Austin Metcalf thing. That was released and it's very like grainy and blurry, but I'm just putting it out there. Make sure y'all go watch that because I've been waiting on that footage to come out. The body cam footage came out, the footage from like the opposite side of the stadium where you can kind of see under the tent came out. More things are coming out every single day. There'll probably have to be another Yappisode about it, but definitely go check that out because I know I've been waiting on it. Without further ado, let's see what Erika was talking about at this event that I believe there was a crowd. Congratulations, Miss Shalami. You have a crowd. So let me pull it up. Somebody asked, what do I think about the Mike theory? What do I think happened? I think the Mike theory does make the most sense. I've said that plenty of times before. It does make the most sense out of everything, especially the trail of it as far as like, you know, that plant exploding in 30 days and everything that's been uncovered with the Leah files that she's recovered or uncovered as far as the money, following the money and all these different contracts that, you know, all of that. So I think the exploding Mike theory makes the most sense. Now, what do I think happened? In my opinion, I think when it exploded, I think that what we saw was an exit wound. And I think whatever happened went inside of his body first. And then I think this was an exit wound, not an entry wound. So whatever happened exploded, whether it bounced off his necklace, I don't know. But I just think that at the result of the chaos, that was an exit wound that we saw. And not an entry wound. So that's just me. I can't really bring anything else to the table because I'm not an investigator. But with the things that I have, you know, researched as far as like listening to other people's deep dive and different angles and all that stuff, that's the only thing that kind of makes sense if I want to commit to that exploding Mike theory. Because to Brandon Tatum's point, it can't explode over here and an entry wound be on this side. That doesn't make any sense. So I agree with that. But that's the only thing that would make sense to me is that, you know, when it exploded, something happened in here and then it went out. But, you know, that's the whole thing about like, did Charlie get cremated? Like, that's very important. Erika's going to call everybody demonic about, you know, where was he buried somewhere? You know, he had a funeral, but is his body in the ground or was his body cremated? If it was cremated, that raises a lot of questions. You know what I mean? Because like they're trying to just hide things every single day. So, you know, that's my take on it as far as the exploding mic stuff. It hasn't really changed at all since the first time it came out.
This is awesome.
Well,
Let me put this thing in 1.25 because y'all know she will put everybody to sleep.
I'd like to take credit, but I can't. No, this is the total team effort, and really the heroes are these people out here who have worked so hard, even just to get here, but are laboring so faithfully, Erika. But we want to welcome, we want to welcome you to our 5th annual Educator Summit, which is amazing because we're only 4 years old. So how do we do that? But first year we had 2. So we're just so thrilled that you're here. Thank you for making the great effort to come all the way from Phoenix to be with us. We've been so looking forward to this.
Thank you. And thank you guys for all coming because you guys have so many different conferences you can go to during the summer and your summer window is so small. So I'm just grateful that you've taken some time to be with us. But Chicago will always have a special place in my heart and you know that. And so I was able to bring the babies.
Okay, so this was in Chicago. Oh, she's about to say something about the kids.
With me but Chicago will always have a special place in my heart and you know that. And so I was able to bring the babies with me this trip to see Charlie's parents and his sister and have them play in the front yard. They were actually playing baseball last night in the front yard. It was really sweet. It was really.
Now, this is the first time ever, in my opinion, or from my understanding, this is the first time I've ever heard her mention Charlie's parents and Charlie's sister. So that is interesting. She's saying that she brought the kids with her to Chicago and they visited Charlie's parents and sister and they played together. So that's that.
Really sweet. So
well, you know, I know this area, of course, is so significant for you, for Charlie growing up in this area. But I know you know this, but everyone else may not know this, is that Lincolnshire, which is where we are, was actually the second headquarters of Turning Point. So Charlie, many of you have seen the pictures of Charlie with the garage down in Lamont, which has been preserved.
That's interesting though, because now that we know, based off of what Erika is saying, you know, if we were to believe what she's saying is true, that would mean that the parents are cool with her. You know, that kind of debunks the whole, you know, the parents aren't really cool with Erika and all of that. I mean, maybe they just did it for the kids. Who knows? But it's a possibility that they just did it for the kids. But that was just the first time that I've ever heard her say that. She brought the kids and they visited Charlie's parents and Charlie's sister. So I don't know. Maybe they just did it for the kids. Maybe it was just like, you know, a scheduled visit, I guess.
By the way, and so you can still go see the garage. I was talking to the man that owns that, and he said that the photocopier is still in there, that Charlie used in the phone. And
all good startups come from a garage.
That's right. But Lincolnshire was the second headquarters, I think not very long. And then I don't know what possessed Charlie to move down to Arizona from Illinois. I just have no idea. But but one of the things, he got to meet you. So that was well worth it. Well worth it. Well, Erika, we're just so grateful for you. And only God knows all that you have been through. I mean, many of us pray for you every day. We just so are appreciative of the way that you have persevered under amazing adversity and slander and ridicule and criticism. It's unbelievable. I don't know how you could do that.
It's very believable. That's what happens when you have a crazy past. Well, why do these people just pretend like that could just be erased? It's unbelievable. No, it's not really that unbelievable. When you have text messages with 15-year-old girls saying you want to touch their butt and be in a lady garden. It's not that unbelievable. Personally, there's a lot of things I don't like her about. A lot. I'm very biased. I would never give her the benefit of the doubt. I actually just did, 40 seconds ago, saying if she's telling the truth about visiting Charlie's parents and stuff like that. But I don't like her for many things, but when I found out about her texting that 15-year-old girl and seeing what she was saying in those messages, that was it. You're weirdo. Kids are innocent. Then the whole Romania thing. Then the whole Jeffrey thing. No. Then the fact that you get to work, you still work around kids every single day. No. I don't feel bad at all. Candace talked to that 15-year-old girl, and the 15-year-old girl confirmed everything that we all was saying. So no, you're a weirdo. You're a groomer. That's what you do. I haven't heard of a single child that was an orphan that came out and said, you know what, Erika saved my life and changed my life. Never heard it once. And again, you skipped over a lot of land to go over the water to go help kids in Romania. I'm not buying it. If you really wanted to help kids so bad, you would have did it in your hometown. Or you would have left Romania, got in the Turning Point, and then once you got some money, right? Once you got some money on, you would have started helping. Why don't you just start up another nonprofit, right? In 2026, start up another one. Help kids now. What's stopping you? You all of a sudden had a passion to help kids back then, and all of a sudden you just lost that passion. It's just gone. I'm not buying it. So no, I don't feel bad for you whatsoever. You're a weirdo. I would not want my kids around you whatsoever. You should be marked on the map as somebody that should stay away from kids. So I don't feel bad at all.
Except apart from a relationship with the Lord.
It's all. My only strength comes from God. That's it. You look at things a lot differently and through a completely different lens when something like this happens. It's the only way you can. This is obviously. Yeah,
I mean, I'm reading your comments. I really don't like her either. I really don't. because I also don't like how she manipulates and weaponizes the Bible. And a lot of people believe it. A lot of people. I mean, look at them. Everybody in there clapping, talking about, yeah, I've only got this far because of God. Like that pisses me off, bro. And it pisses me off when people try to defend that too. You know what I mean? Like it's complete BS. I am aware of your game, ma'am. People manipulated scripture and religion since the beginning of time. That is not anything new. America was dang near founded off of manipulating religion. Christopher Columbus did. That's a whole nother thing. But that is something that has been used all the time. Slavery, same thing. They manipulated scripture. They weaponized it. They didn't allow slaves to read certain books in the Bible. They only gave them what they wanted to give. It's always happened. It happens. Even the devil knows scripture. So people, I don't know why people are oblivious, acting like it's not a possibility for somebody to be evil and then preaching God to you. It literally still happens today. How many pastors do we know that I mean, maybe not personally know, that we hear about that are under allegations? It happens. Erika wouldn't be the first person in the world to preach gospel stuff and be evil behind the scenes. So when we call it out, why do everybody just pretend like this is just so demonic and evil? How dare you call somebody out? She knows Bible verses. How dare you? And I'm just like, what is wrong with you? She wouldn't be the first person ever.
Spiritual warfare on a completely different level that I could have ever imagined. But at the same time, and like I've said before, I have seen the worst of humanity, but I've also seen the best of it. And in this moment, I really feel that the Lord has really put a hedge of protection around my children, myself, from the standpoint of just guarding my mind and my heart. Again, I've said this before, when you, and those of you who have gone through grief and have lost someone that you love so deeply, when you kiss the person you love so much goodbye for the last time, there is nothing that anyone can ever say or do that could ever hurt you. And the freedom of that is unbelievable. Because for me, this is so much more, and Huts, we've talked about this before, Turning Point USA, Turning Point Education, all of our different programs.
Let me tell you what she does. This is easy play. Easy manipulation play that she does. Bad people run to religion to avoid accountability. It happens all the time. That's why they love to just run straight to God when they finally get locked up after being so evil for so long. They go and they get to prison. Now all of a sudden they coming out there heavy on religion stuff. They do it all the time. It happens so often. Bad people turn to religion, and obviously this is not absolutely everyone, right? So don't be offended at all. I'm probably not talking to anybody listening, but bad people turn to religion to avoid accountability. So that way, Erika can say, I turn to God. All the evil things that I've done in the past, all the grooming, all the alleged, directing traffic of kids, of women, all that stuff, all of those things, God forgave me for it. And if I confess to God behind closed doors and I apologize to God and he forgave me for it, who are you when God has already forgiven me? The problem is, it's her version of God, but her version of God is herself. This God that she's creating in her mind is her, because the God that she claims that she's talking about, it only honors Erika for all of like the things she wants to be honored for. Like, oh, God forgave me for my bad stuff. God forgot all about that stuff. But then there's so many different scriptures in the Bible about accountability. You can't run away from that. Don't take one scripture out of the thing talking about Jesus said to forgive not only 7 times, but 77 times. Don't nitpick out of the Bible and then make all of your favorite Bible verses your God. That's just centering it around you. You're making yourself an idol because you want to take all of these good verses that boosts your ego and you want to say that's God because look at all of these great verses of mine that keeps me happy. That's God right there. No, you think you're God because the one and true God has so many different scriptures talking about accountability and so many things talking about confessing with your mouth, right? Confessing your sins out loud to everyone, whatever it is, whoever you hurt. You don't get to hurt all of these different people and then close your door in the bedroom and then say, I confess to God by myself. No. That's nowhere near accountability. That's nowhere near accepting whatever consequence that you have put upon yourself because of your actions. You confess to the right person, confess to the authorities. How about you do that? Erika, come out and just admit. Come out and just acknowledge. How about that? Let's see how your God handles that outcome. Come out and tell everybody straight up about your entire past. Since he's forgiven you, right? It's a closed chapter of your life. So I want to know more about it, Eric. I want to know more about your closed path. I mean, your closed past. I want to know more. Who is Erika Franz-Faye? Tell me everything, because that's what makes up a human. The good, the bad, the ugly. So let's hear it. Let's hear it all. If you have nothing to hide. But she ain't gonna do it. She would never do it.
This is so much more than just an organization. This is what my husband fought for and what he believed in and what he wanted other people to be inspired by and with and through. And so that's why being able to see all of this happen around us, I'm like, that's just noise. It's the enemy trying to distract all of us in this room, all of our students. It's trying.
See, that's what they do. Anybody that questions my past is the devil. No, what if that 15-year-old girl wanted to just talk? Is that the devil? The 15-year-old girl that we have text messages, proof that you were texting her very inappropriately. What if she came out without talking to you, man? What if she just chose to come out, right? I don't know why she wouldn't. I don't know why she doesn't. I would. But what if she just chose to come out tomorrow and make a full video and was just like, yep, Erika did this, Erika did that. Erika gonna come out and say, that's the devil working. That's the devil working hard, everybody. Don't mind her. That's the devil. That's crazy.
For them to create a divide and a division between something that is so united. And it would be such a disservice to everything that Charlie built if we focused on that and we didn't focus on actually building and moving the needle and making a difference in this country.
Voting Republican? That's it. Stop the building stuff, bro. Stop the building stuff. Stop saying the building thing and then stop trying to apply God and all of this stuff with your Republican propaganda. I can't stand hearing that. We're building, we're doing something that God wants. Bro, you are just a Trump shield. Just say that. You do whatever Trump say. That's it. It ain't got nothing to do with God at all.
And so when you hold that perspective of this isn't earthly. Like, you have to keep your mind and your heart and your mission heaven focused. And for me, that's all I'll ever be focusing on is that. And it's just an honor to be able to have you and the rest of the team and all of you guys in this room and our students and all of our other supporters being able to be a part of that mission, because it's so much bigger and greater than just us at the end of the day.
So appreciate that. And that's really the answer to the question. I mean, you understand this, what you're going through from a spiritual perspective, that this is spiritual warfare. And to just claim you're a victim of circumstance, completely misses the bigger picture. But
yeah, 100%. This is exactly what fooled Charlie. It's exactly what fooled Charlie. And Candace said it best when she closed her show out the other day about, it's easy to be naive to so many different things. In politics, if you're early on in your faith, because of people like this, it's very hard because you don't think to question it. That's the hard part about religion. Depending on were raised around, who you were taught by, kind of. Sometimes people don't like to question things in the Bible. Sometimes people don't like to question other people just because on the surface level, oh, we're the same. You're a Christian, I'm a Christian, blah, blah, blah. But instead, when you really start to question and try to figure out who somebody is that's claiming to be similar to you, and you start figuring out so many different differences, and you start figuring out, oh, okay, well, what was your past like? Well, that's not very Christ-like. Now, I'm not saying that you got to be perfect. We've all fell short at one point in time, but I mean, you used to direct traffic, bro. Like this. Did you go to jail for that? Does anybody know about that? Look, listen, if you used to direct traffic and you used to have this past of messing with underage girls, we're not the same, bro. But yes, Charlie was so naive to it all. He was naive to it all. He had a girl that came in. I'm sorry, a woman, a grown woman at 28, 29, one of them ages, 27, 28, 29. Charlie's a 24-year-old virgin. And I'm standing by it. I think Charlie think that she was a virgin. I don't know. Either Charlie thought she was a virgin, or she told Charlie about this whole I'm reborn type thing. Y'all know them folks that you know, it's the past. I've been celibate for the last 3 years because I found God. Like she hyped up her Christian ways in her last couple of years to make it seem like she was born new again. But it wasn't her being 100% transparent about her past. I refuse to believe that, because Charlie has 1,000 videos literally telling women, you know, in kind of like an arrogant way of like, if you're living like that, nobody's going to want you. That's how you know he didn't know Erika was like that. Because any man, you cannot convince me or tell me that any man that knows that his wife had a past like Erika's would not be on that stage bragging as if his wife wasn't living the same life that he's telling all of these other women to not live. He had no idea.
You see that, and I think many of us see that as well. You know, I know, though, all these folks here, and so many more, of course, Erika, are just so burdened and care about you and the kids, and they would just love to know, beyond what you just shared, how are they doing? How are you doing as a family? And how can we specifically pray for you?
So when all of this happened, I had a dear friend say to me that when George Bush...
Bro, this is in 1.25. Is she really talking? That's crazy. This is in 1.25, and it sounds like she's talking normal.
I believe it was Senior. When he got out of office, a woman came up to him and said, "Sir, we were praying for you your entire presidency. Like, it was an honor to pray for you." And he goes, "I know, because I felt the absence of those prayers when I left office." And I always thought to myself, when people say, "Oh, our prayers are with you," or during a tragedy, and I said, "Okay, I'm praying for you, but what else can I do?" Being in this position now, when someone says, "I'm praying for you," that is the greatest blessing and gift I could ever get. That is worth more to me than any DoorDash, than any amount of gift card. The prayers and that hedge of protection, and that the power of prayer is so important. And to feel that weight in a good way is the only thing I can honestly be able to point to, aside from the Lord being our strength. I mean, the prayers of others has just been phenomenal, but every day is different. Those of you who've gone through grief, like I said, it fluctuates. It's a wave. There are moments where you're just sitting there and you're like, brace for impact. Like, the wave is coming, and you just got to sit there and let it smack you in the face and then wash off. But it's one of those things where every day is different. I want my children.
Listen, sometimes I just wait for y'all to catch it. Yeah. Prayers in compared to door dashing. I mean, are we surprised? This is a new Erika video that just dropped today. You can see it on YouTube if you join. Yeah, door dashing and gift cards. Wow, compared to prayer. But you know, this is the same lady that says, as long as you stay in the jet stream of God's will. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why do you have to say stuff like that? I mean, that's how you know she went to some type of academy or a school of like the manipulation academy of scriptures or some type of weaponizing Bible religion. She did something because she cannot say a sentence without mentioning it. And that don't mean you all extra holy because every sentence is something religious. It's weird to me because it's just not relatable. It's not. And I think she I don't know what she thinks. She's not real to me. But it's like, bro, you can talk normal sometimes. You can. You really don't have to have every single sentence be so religious coded.
Of course, their childhood is going to look very different from a lot of other children's childhood, but I want them to know that they are so loved, that they have a army of people believing in them and supporting them, praying for them. But honestly, just a prayer of, again, protection, prayer for their hearts too, for my babies, because I don't know how this.
So if everyone stopped the TPUSA money donations and put paper in the prayer box. Oh, snap. Hey, that was funny. That was funny, bro. Yeah.
There is no blueprint here. That's the weirdest part of all of this. I have tried to look at other widows that have been semi in the similar situation, which is, it's very different at the same time because now we have social media and all this other crazy stuff out there.
What you just say?
But there's similar situation. Other widows. That's the weirdest part of all of this. I have tried to look at other widows that have been semi in the similar situation, which is.
Excuse me? What you mean by that? What you mean? What you mean you've been looking at other widows just to see what?
It's very different. That have been semi in the other widows that have been semi in the similar situation, which is, it's very different at the same time because now we have social media.
You needed to look at other widows to do what? See how to act? I'm sorry. I've never heard of that in my life. Who needs, first off, look at this look that I just paused it on. She's crazy. But bro, when you go through something in life and you are truly, you lose somebody, all of that, who says I need to look up somebody that's been in a similar situation? I mean, grief is grief, bro. However you handle it is how you handle it. What are you looking up widows for? What did you Google? I need to see that search bar. What did you search up? What did you look up? How to act like a widow? Widow whose husband died, who was murdered from a gunshot wound. How did they act? Like, what did you search up talking about? I had to look up other widows. That's insane. I don't know, man. I don't know about you. I didn't know about you. Like you absolutely psychotic. But saying that on camera is diabolical.
Media and all this other crazy, the similar situation, which is, it's very different at the same time because now we have social media and all this other crazy stuff out there. But there's no blueprint. So I am just relying so.
There's no blueprint at all. So why are you searching up? Why are you trying to find the blueprint? Is your processor not processing? Yeah, right. Did she need help finding the emotions? What is happening right now? You just said that there's no blueprint, but you were searching up the common behavior of widows. That is so weird, bro.
Heavily on the Lord to just guide me on how to raise my babies through this and just really trusting in that. And it's going to take a village. And I want them to just have prayers for their heart because I don't know how it'll manifest in them when they get older. I do know that they will be walking with the Lord, and I do know that it's the little moments, like a father-daughter dance, or like my daughter not being able to have her father walk her down the aisle. Those little moments that I just pray for, or like Charlie teaching my son how to throw a football. It's like little things like that. But just their hearts would be, and a hedge of protection around us and around the organization, because the enemy would love nothing more than to have destroyed what Charlie built with that one bullet. And it's not going to happen. It's just not. I refuse to let it happen.
I mean, you're doing it. Honestly, the bullet didn't even do it. It was you. You did it. The bullet didn't do it. I swear. You know what the bullet did? Let me talk about what the bullet did. The bullet is what led to the, what did she say in that phone call? 600,000 new donors, and so whatever happened at that memorial service, and how everybody was really all together when we all were one, and we all, I'm sure a lot of people probably had amazing discernment and they clocked her from the beginning, but a lot of us, including myself, was on board in those first couple of weeks. That's what the bullet did. It brought everybody together, and we was just trying to figure out, bro, this is crazy. Let's figure something out. And then you took over. She took over and destroyed it. So the bullet didn't do anything. The bullet did exactly what I think Charlie would have wanted, which was like bringing everybody together, and truly everybody picking up the mic, everybody being more confident and speaking up and questioning everything and all this other stuff, because everybody was upset about it. Everybody. There's so many people that say, dog, I cried longer than Erika. I was hurt for a long time. So like, I don't know what she talking about. You said what bullet? Yeah, that too.
So, folks, there you have it. I mean, Erika specifically said one of the things, the best thing that we can do for her is to pray for her and her family. And I want to encourage you to do that every day, not just occasionally, but every day.
Hey, I'm gonna take you up on that. Just like Mark said, if the best thing you can do for Erika is pray, everybody stop their donations immediately and just pray. Erika, don't send out no more donation letters either. None of them. When you send them out, just put a box and say prayer box. That's it. No dollar amounts, no grifting, talking about do it for Charlie, donate for Charlie, leave a generous amount for Charlie. Nope. I'm gonna put an X. I don't get them letters. I'm glad I don't. I'd rip them up. But if I did, I just put an X on all of that, and I'm gonna leave a note at the bottom. Say praying for you, shawty. There you go. You got my prayers. That's all you need, right? You ain't getting nothing out of me, but you got my prayer. That's the most important thing. I think that's what you told me.
Make that a priority in my personal prayer life for her and for her family, her kids every day. It's something that we can all do wherever we are. So let's agree together. We're going to do that. But Erika, you called yourself a widow. I mean, it probably seems strange to even call yourself a widow. I mean, you're a young woman, and the last thing you're thinking that I'm a widow. But I do want to ask you a hard question.
Man, let me look. This ain't no shade at all, but I don't know how y'all would look at somebody that's 38, but when he says young woman, I don't think of 38 years old. She's not old, but I don't know.
Not that these other ones were easy, but many of us were touched significantly, profoundly, the way that you were able to forgive the killer of Charlie. Can you kind of walk us through that, and how did God give you the grace and ability to even say the words, let alone mean it?
For those of you who have been in a position of having to forgive someone who has done something unbelievably painful to you and your family.
Hold on. Y'all see her eyes? I might got to put this in regular time right here, because them things going crazy.
Really painful to you of having to forgive someone who has done something unbelievably painful to you and your family. You realize that if you don't
y'all see
let
her
go
eyes
of that, it'll destroy you. That is not to say you don't
Y'all see
unbelievably
that?
painful to you and your family. You realize that if you don't let go of that, it'll destroy you. That is not to say
Dog, she is creepy, bro. She is creepy. And I know she one of them people too that like, y'all know them like the video is on YouTube. I forgot what it's called. Let me see. It's on Turning Point Academy's YouTube channel. Please do not go sub to them. But it's on their YouTube channel, and it's called, I think it's their most recent video, Erika Kirk Live at Educators Summit 2026. She looks like one of those like active listeners, which is like kind of scary, because imagine like talking to her and she's just not like won't break eye contact, and it's like, this is awkward. Can we just talk casually? You know what I mean? If we happen to make eye contact, that's cool. But she just seemed like somebody that would just like stare at you the entire time. That's creepy. I'm probably a foot taller than her, but I wouldn't want to just sit there and stare at her though.
say you forget. For those of you who have been in a position of having to forgive someone who has done something unbelievably painful to you and your family, you realize that if you don't let go of that, it'll destroy you. That is not to say you forget. That is not to say that you accept and that you allow and that you condone it. It's putting you in a position that the devil does not have a foothold in your life. Because when I get to heaven, God willing, and I stand before God and he says, I forgive you except for this one thing. And it's like, I don't want anything to separate me from being reunited with my husband. And it was one of those moments where I prayed on it. I wrote that speech broken apart in between waking up at like 2 to 3 a.m. because I sleep with my daughter now. And so it's very acrobatic. She'll sleep sideways. She'll sleep with her head down by my feet and then switch around. She's like she's a 3, almost 4-year-old. So again, it's like gymnastics all throughout the night.
Gymnastics all throughout the night. But you said, Charlie, if you want a good night's rest, go sleep with our little gymnast. Go sleep with that same child that is gymnastics all throughout the night. Go sleep with her in her bed if you want a great night. She just admitted that it's gymnastics with a toddler. It is. My toddler sleeps in our bed. And I will intentionally get up and go in his room and go to sleep because his bed is huge and he refuses to sleep in it. I'm asleep in it. But sleeping with him is I can't stand it. He moves too much. But that's what she said. She said, go sleep with Gigi if you want a good night's rest. Huh? That don't even sound, and I'm not even 6'5". Charlie's 6'5". I don't know, bro.
And it's funny because those of you who are mothers, you spend a lot of time like sleep training your child. Like it's really exciting for you to sleep in your own bed. And like I was totally on board for that. And then when everything happened, it's just that all went out the window. And I was like, whether you like it or not, you're sleeping with your mother. So like I need you more than you probably need me in your bed. So throughout the night, I'd wake up and I would just write what's on my heart. I always found writing to be super cathartic. It's just a thing. And sorry, I did not expect to be crying this morning. So just blame it on the allergies. Allergies in Chicago for the summer. But it was one of those things where I was putting it all together. And I remember sitting with my pastor the night before, and I read it through and I told
Okay, I see y'all correction.
him, I was like, there's one thing in here that I haven't added. And I told him what it was. And I said, I just really need to pray on this. I said, this is not something to be prescripted. There's going to be something in the moment where if it is meant to be said, and I truly believe it, I want the Holy Spirit to convict me to say it. I don't want to say it just because to say it. I want to be totally freed. And I do not want that man to have any piece of my heart, my soul. That would destroy me. That would destroy my family and my kids. And how many times God has forgiven us for everything. And again, it's not to condone. It's unbelievably painful. It's the worst thing you could ever go through in your entire life. But when I said that, it was because it was something I really meant. And again, it wasn't scripted. And I just knew that saying that was my moment of being able to literally make a statement against Satan, saying, you can take my husband and you can try to divide this country, but I refuse to let you take
What'd you just say?
any piece of me. Try Satan, of being able to literally make a statement against Satan, saying, you can take my husband.
Satan, you can take my husband? Huh?
You can, and Satan, my moment of being able to literally make a statement against Satan, saying, you can take my husband and you can try to divide this country, but I refuse to let you take any piece of me because I need to be here for my babies. And I need to also be here for what my husband left for us. And
No, that is weird, bro. That is crazy. Satan, you can take my husband, but I refuse to let you take me because I need to be here for my babies. What? There's no way you just said that on camera and nobody in the crowd clocked that. Nobody in the crowd peeped that. That's great. So now she's saying Satan took Charlie. Satan took Charlie. That's what she said. Satan, you can take my husband. This whole time I thought you were saying God did it. I thought you were saying God wanted him sooner. Satan, you can take my husband. Wow. But I refuse to let you take me. First off, bro, you can take my husband, but I'm not going to let you take me. That's a crazy statement to say. That's a crazy statement to say. Then in another interview, she literally said, I'm not afraid to go out in public and blah, blah. What am I afraid of? To go to heaven sooner with Charlie? To meet God sooner? Or whatever she said. Now she like, Satan, you could take my husband, but I ain't letting you take me. Yo, Erika, you having a process failure. This is the real you coming out right now. You rambling a little too much. And this is why she don't like to be on camera. She don't like to be on camera because these things happen way too often. That is a diabolical statement to say. Satan, you can take my husband. That's crazy.
Trusted to us from this country, but I refuse to let you take any piece of argument against Satan, saying, you can take my husband and you can try to divide this country, but I refuse to let you take any piece of me because I need to be here for my babies. And I need to also.
That is so crazy to say, bro. Oh my gosh. Saying you can take my husband. Wow. Wow.
Be here for what my husband left for us and entrusted to us.
What?
Thank you for sharing that, and so powerful. At the impact of that, I think, is continuing on. I know it is, Erika, continuing on.
Thank you for sharing that. You see what I'm saying? These folks ain't even listening, bro. They not even listening to what she's saying. Any person that is anybody, bro, anybody that was all of us, if we was in the crowd, and maybe it might have slipped our mind, maybe it might have went over our head in that very moment. Maybe, I don't know. I just know that we're sitting here watching it for the first time, and I heard that. That's insane. And they clapped. They clapped. She just said Satan took Charlie. Bro, these folks is crazy, bro. They let her get away with absolutely anything.
In so many people's lives right now. Well, let me flip the page just ever so slightly. So now you're the CEO of Turning Point USA. That happened literally overnight. I mean, there was a board process that completely affirmed your role as the next CEO of Turning Point USA. But this is not like a mom and pop grocery store. I mean, Turning Point USA is a growing, dynamic, multifaceted organization, Turning Point Education being one of maybe 6 or 7 major divisions of Turning Point USA. And so now you're the CEO. What has been some of the challenges, but also some of the blessings of stepping into that role that you had not anticipated that was going to happen like that?
Let me pull the curtain back just a little bit for you guys, because I think a lot of people have some misunderstanding is not the right word, but I think it's just helpful to clarify a few things here. Those of you who have spouses that you have watched build a company.
I thought she was going to retract her statement about Satan taking Charlie. No. She's standing on that.
Organization, a startup, that you've been alongside them for that. You see the inner workings of things. You see how much they pour their heart and their soul into something. You see the decisions. You become their confidant. You become their vault. You become their sounding board. And so as time went on, being with Charlie, there was no daylight between us. So him and I were always in lockstep. And we, just like anyone else, I mean, we had a emergency plan, which obviously we never thought would have to be executed on. But it's one of those things where we obviously have had the conversation of, God forbid, if something happens to you or myself, what's the plan? We were not foreign to death threats, or I personally got rape threats. We have kidnapping threats. Like, it's not something that's foreign to us. So it was a conversation that needed to be had. And of course it's uncomfortable, but life is life. Life is short.
I'm not gonna lie. And this is not even a crazy take, I feel like we all could agree. If something were to happen to Erika while Charlie was alive, I think Charlie would have gave up politics. Just basing it off of his love that he always expressed and confessed for Erika, and all of his debates, interviews, all of that. I think if something happened to Erika, like this, like something crazy, I think he would have gave up politics. And I think he would have solely went max to figure out what happened to her, especially if it didn't make any sense. He would have just went going on and on, trying to figure out what happened to her, getting down to the bottom. He wouldn't be worried about Trump. People get out and go vote. He wouldn't do any of that. I think he would have fully given up politics and fully committed to being a fully present father in the house for his 2 children. Because I do respect Charlie, I mean, all around. But when it comes to fatherhood, Charlie had that. Like, I respected his perspective on fatherhood, even though he was gone a lot. But he was the provider, you know what I mean? But I think based off of his love that he always, put out there about how much he loved his family, his kids, his wife, I think he would have put everything to the side if something happened to Erika, because I think it honestly would have hit him on how he missed out on so much because he was gone so often. And I think he would have fully put it all to the side to be there for his kids. So now that he's gone, all of a sudden there's this motivation to get heavier into politics for Erika. Now your 2 kids already don't have a father. Now you're going to step in and take the position that got their father murdered, and you're going to get even deeper into politics. And now you're going to be the person that's also away from your kids. That just doesn't make any sense to me, because Charlie would have given it all up if something happened to Erika. But for some reason, she has all the money in the world now. And she's like, no. We're building what? Your 10th mansion? What more do you need? The donations you received off of Charlie's memorial service set you up for life. For life. The donations. So, in other words, other people gave you enough money to be set for life. That's not even Charlie's money. I'm basing it off of your leaked Zoom call with all the merch sales and all the other stuff, and Tucker Carlson donations and Brandon Tatum donations. And God forbid, all the other people. Other people gave you enough money to not worry about all of this nonsense. That was the whole point of giving you money. To say, hey, bro, don't worry about trying to get out there and do all of this politics stuff. Don't be trying to politic stuff at all, bro. Take care of your kids. Sit at the house. Go to some island. You got enough money for it. Go to a private island. Just hang out. Don't be trying to get into politics like Charlie. Just lay low, because that was a crazy situation that we just saw and that we all had to witness. And she said, no. I need to get back out there and keep building. I need to get back out there. We're building. We're growing. My Turning Point USA family needs me. No, they don't, bro. They could have shut Turning Point down for a month. The fact that them kids had to work overtime to prepare for that memorial is crazy. They could have easily said, listen, bro, Turning Point USA is shut down for like a month, man. Like, just go home, relax, chill. Focus on your family. We got enough money to take care of the memorial. She got all the money in the world, and they're still asking for donations from normal people. She went to that One Club America thing talking about it's hard out here being the sole provider now. Sole provider? Lady, everybody else gave you enough money in the world to be set for life. Other people, not you, not what you're doing. Other people gave you enough money to set up you and your kids for life outside of Charlie's money. That's, oh my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh. Sarah Conroy, thank you for the donation. Thank you for supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate it. This lady is pissing me off.
It's good to know that you have a plan. So all along, Charlie and I, we confided in the team. It wasn't an unknown thing. God forbid if something happened, this is the route we're going to take. I am so grateful that Charlie had me involved in literally as much as possible.
Is that the donation Tucker gave her was gas money? Bro, that is funny. Hey, that's a fact though, because you talking about she 75,000? 75,000 wow, one way for a private jet, and she taking private jets every day. Sheesh, it might be gas money. You ain't lying. That's fuel money for sure.
With Turning Point USA, TPUSA Faith, other programs within the Turning Point USA umbrella.
I got you. Rewind this part 15 seconds.
Turning Point USA, so great, an unknown thing. God forbid we confided in the team. It wasn't an unknown thing. God forbid if something happened, this is the route we're going to take. I am so grateful that Charlie had me involved in literally as much as possible with Turning Point USA, TPUSA Faith, other programs within the Turning Point USA umbrella. So much so to the point when everything happened, there was a 0% learning curve here. So I didn't walk into the office for the first time being like, wow, what is this place? There's 6 buildings. But before all of this, I used to take the kids to the office pretty much daily, sometimes because like Gigi would have dance class and stuff like that every other day, whatever, but I would bring them in because I wanted them to see Daddy doing his radio show. I wanted them to be able to see running around the offices, having fun and making friends with some of the employees because they would give them gifts. Like it was a family, and it still is a family. And that's the way that the organization has always operated. And so when it came to the moments after everything happened, I didn't look at the room and say, Huds, who are you? I didn't. I knew all of them by name. I know a vast majority.
That is what are you about to say? Because that's a lie.
Of our staff by name. I know their families. I know their backgrounds. Say, Huds, who are you? I didn't. I knew all of them by name. I know a vast majority of our staff by name. I know their families. I know their backgrounds. I know what programs they're working on. I never had to say, Huds, what are you guys doing for Turning Point Education?
That is a lie. I know she went back a little bit and said majority. That is a lie. In the leaked Zoom call, she literally said she wants to set up meetings with the people on staff, so that way she can get to know everybody, and that way she can pray over them. We literally made a video about this. This was, I believe, a Yappisode. I don't even think it was a regular video. We literally talked about this months ago. She literally said, I want to meet everybody and schedule a meeting so I can get to know your name and pray over you. And I remember I was like, first off, why would I want, I remember making videos about this. I was like, why would I want to go inside of the break room and Erika's sitting right there saying, I want to pray over you? Oh my gosh, I would smack the hell out of her. I would have to. There's no way I'm at work. At work. Let's clarify. Work. I ain't at church. I'm not in the pulpit. And she talking about come inside of the break room or wherever the meeting is so I can get to know your name and pray over you. If you don't know my name, I don't want you praying over me. For one, because you don't know me. So what's the prayer? I think you need prayer. And I won't be the one to do it because I don't know what you got going on. What'd I say? Oh, I said I'll slap somebody, and I got I got flagged for saying I'll slap somebody. But I remember her saying that. So she's literally lying right now, talking about I know everybody by name. No, you don't. You literally said you don't.
And you need to stop, because what happens is, and those of you who own either companies or organizations, what happens is it's almost like a new football coach that comes in where I guess we'll just use Alabama as an example. A new Alabama head football coach comes in and they'll sit back and they'll look at the strategy. They'll look at the game plans. They'll look at the offensive coordinator. They'll look at the defensive coordinator. They're going to look at everything and they're going to say, this works, this doesn't, this, I don't know about this. Let's pause on this. There's going to be a lot of that. We don't have time for that. And so this is not a 2-year pet project. This is a 14-year-old organization that my husband started a long time ago with a very definitive mission and vision. And he shared that with me all the time, just as he instilled it upon you guys as well. So when I was in those rooms, after everything that happened, of course we're mourning, of course we're grieving, but I had the luxury and the blessing.
There is so many ex-employees that have already came out and said they knew Erika, but they didn't really like see her like that. So what is she talking about? Like, I've always been there. I'm always around. I've been around all the time. Like, there's so many people that have been like, yeah, I mean, like, I knew who she was, and you see her every now and then, but like, I didn't really see her like that though.
Of being able to know all of them by name and saying, go do it. You guys know your marching orders. You already know what needs to be done to make sure that this organization is successful. Go do it. And I am so proud of you. And this is painful, but we will make Charlie proud. And what was so amazing through all of it is that I was able to then not say, hey, Huts, stop what you're doing. I need to see what your program is. I need to see what your plan is for the Educator Summit. Maybe we shouldn't do it. Maybe we should. No, I didn't have to say that. I said, please move forward because I trust you and I've known you and I know it'll be amazing. And we can't stop. We cannot afford to stop for 1 year, 1 month, 1 moment. We just.
You can't. Did you say afford? Did I hear that correctly? You can't afford to stop for 1 month? She said 1 year, 1 month. You can't afford to stop. Y'all overhead cost is that much? You can't afford to stop. Well, maybe we should stop with the private jets. If money is that tight, maybe let's stop with the private jets. It's $75,000 one way. Some of your employees, all of your employees, most of them would probably never touch $75,000 in 1 year. It probably would take them 2 to 3 years to touch $75,000. You spent that on the snap of a finger, on gas, on fuel. And your employees are out there knocking on doors, setting up picnic tables, talking about, did you register to vote? Most of them are volunteers. And then they go back to their dorm room because you love picking on college kids because they're easy to manipulate. While you get on your Gulfstream 5, right? Your G5. And you just fly left and right everywhere. And you got the audacity to say y'all can't afford to just stop for a month. $250 million in Q4 last year, allegedly. Based on the numbers she said at the memorial service, she was pretty happy. I think it's close. And she said they can't afford to just pause Turning Point for 1 month. Wow. Okay.
Just can't. This has to keep going, and it's going to be done in a way that honors my husband. It's never separated from his vision and original mission and purpose, and that's how it always.
Imagine those students. Imagine students like, I mean, that's why I've been trying my best to just like, bro, students, parents, get out of there. But imagine students just being told, no, you have to keep going. You cannot stop. Keep going. Keep on working for free, or keep on working for $17, $18 an hour. It can't stop. We can't stop. Keep going. Work overtime. And then she gets on her G5 to go do a press conference.
And everyone that is in a leadership position here was hand-selected by my husband. This is not, again, a new rodeo that we're on. This is something that these individuals have been put in place by my husband. They know what they're here to do. They know that they're here to honor and serve the Lord, and they know that they're here for something so much greater than just themselves. And I have to say, it is such a blessing and tremendous.
I gotta hear this part again. I can't stand when they bring God into the politics.
Tremendous honor, greater. They know what they're here to do. They know that they're here to honor and serve the Lord, and they.
Why you just busting here like that, bro? My dog just busting here. Man.
Know that they're here for something, husband, a new rodeo that we're on. This is something that these individuals have been put in place by my husband. They know what they're here to do. They know that they're here to honor and serve the Lord, and they know that they're here for something so much greater than just themselves. And I have to say, it is such a blessing and tremendous, tremendous honor to be able to witness the team step up in the way that they have during immense grief that would absolutely cripple any other organization. But since we are so understanding of why we're here, anything that's outside of that and outside of the jet stream of God's will not impact or slow us down ever.
There it is. I told y'all, the jet stream of God's will. She says it in every single freaking speech. Every single one. We called it before this even started at the 1 minute mark. Said the jet stream of God's will. If you're in the jet stream of God's will, you'll always be okay. And there it is. She was taught that. Oh my gosh, no.
You're either stupid.
This honor to be able to witness the team.
She was taught that in manipulation camp.
Step up in the way that they have during immense grief that would absolutely cripple any other organization. But since we are so understanding of why we're here, anything that's outside of that and outside of the jet stream of God's will not impact or slow us down ever.
We literally called it. I literally said the jet stream of God's will. That is her favorite line. She says it once every appearance.
Erika, first I want to thank you for the football illustration because I understood that. So that was very helpful. But I do want to say that as somebody who's on the inside, Erika is stepped into her role given the tragic circumstances that she's had to step in, and you heard all the background leading up to, but she has done that as seamlessly and as effectively and as wonderfully as possible. I mean, I've had a front row seat, and I don't know any other organization that could lose its founder, its visionary, its spokesperson, the person that everyone looked to, and then continue on as well as Turning Point is continuing on amidst all kinds of lies, fallacious stuff that's out there. And that's a credit to you, Erika, for all the reasons you said, but I've seen it firsthand, and it's been extraordinary, and it's allowed us to continue on. I mean, we're doing things more this year, not less, since September 10th, which is
come on, bro, get to it.
Amazing. This is, and again, sovereignly. Well, I think everybody at Turning Point knows that Turning Point Education is your favorite division. I mean, we just all. I mean, let's just be honest here, Erika. So, but tell us why you love Turning Point Education and what we're doing.
So I have a soft spot for Turning Point Education, aside just from your leadership within it and your history with Charlie and myself. What's really special is to be able to see all the different programs underneath the Turning Point USA umbrella. It's a lot, and it's sometimes hard for people to comprehend because there is so much going on. So what this could just be its own organization itself, because there's so many things within this particular little vein. And so, but what I love is that with this growth, to go back to that one comment you just made, we are taking that so seriously to steward it wisely. This is not something that's going to be a flash in the pan. Turning Point Education, to me, Charlie, he even said it. He wanted this to be bigger than all of the public school system in the country. And with anything, in the beginning, Charlie was trying to weave the needle of what should we do with this or what should we do with that. And I think that you guys have really struck the rhythm appropriately. But what's so special is that Charlie and I both, we were student athletes. We had several teachers in our life that as students really poured into us and was there for us. And I think what some people forget is that, and for you guys to be able to pour into them American values and just love of the Lord and other amazing curriculum that we have set aside, that really does make a huge difference in the lives of these children. But not only that, what I love is that there is something for everyone at Turning Point USA at every age. So from 0 to high school, you have Turning Point Education. You also have our communities program. There's so many, you have TPUSA Faith. There's so many things within that period.
There is no 10 in a shoe, even probably older than that. Nobody needs to be in Turning Point Faith at 6 years old. She's talking about from 0 to whatever. I just can't stand how these people are going into schools now, man. Megyn Kelly said it best. The weirdos, they start off doing weird stuff, and then they start dibbling dabbling into Boy Scout camps and churches and schools. Megyn Kelly said it best. Her fixation of just going, I don't know, just trying to be everywhere, bro. In the churches, in the schools. Sure, somebody's probably like, well, if Charlie was alive, would all of this be happening? I don't know. I have no idea. But I'm just speaking on what I'm looking at right now. And it's sick. It's sick watching these people just try to go into schools at the rate that they're doing it, signing these contracts with the states and governors endorsing Club America and Turning Point USA $1 million+ so a Club America chapter can be started at every single high school in these states. It's weird.
Then from high school to college, you have Club America. And then from college, end of college, you have our chapters with our program. And then after that, you have our young professionals in our communities program. So there's something for you at every age and stage of life with Turning Point. But again, going back to the educator side, you guys play a massive role in the front lines of what's going on in our country, because without you guys, people are going to rewrite history. They're going to rewrite literally, they're probably even going to try to rewrite my husband's assassination. You guys are in the middle of history being made. And I find it so important for us to be able to be an added resource to you all, whether that's, trying to make understanding of.
It's so weird because liberal indoctrination is real, like at these colleges, where they indoctrinate these kids and they just grow up to just think that all Republicans are racist and evil people and all that. So that exists, but this literally just sounds like the opposite. It literally sounds like now I don't want to say conservative indoctrination because I would consider myself a conservative, but it's almost like MAGA Republican, far right extremist Republican indoctrination. That's what it literally seems like they're pushing for. Because why are you in every school and why are you pushing all of these things on kids? You're just supposed to do what I feel like Charlie did, which was just go to the campuses, figure out how these kids feel about life and what they want in life, and educate them that, well, what you want in life doesn't align with who you vote for. And cool, educate them like that and move forward. Why are we going into these kids' high school? I don't know, man. It's all weird.
What's going on in this world, or how better you can, serve the students, or how you can explain things better, or even just being a part of a room like this, finding like-minded educators that you can rally with when things get tough, and you're calling them being like, hey, the admin that I have right now is just awful. What did you figure out is a good way to balance XYZ? And so really what Charlie always wanted to create with these types of summits and these gatherings is so that people knew that they weren't alone. There's something really, really powerful and special in numbers and in community. And that was deeply broken during COVID, deeply broken. And I see this even so much to the point of even today. We have lost the bare bone basics of trust from human to human. There are people who trust a machine, an AI, more than they trust a person. It's just the way it is. If you go on the internet and you type in something and Grok says this is what it is, they're going to believe that's what it is because Grok told them. But Grok is not always correct. Grok is a machine and it gets fed what it is told. But a human, if you can't trust a human, that's a bare bones soul issue that needs to be worked out in our country. And that was deeply.
I'm gonna allow you to finish this statement, but why do I have to trust you just because you're a human? Let me allow you to continue, Miss Shalami, because this ain't making
broken in COVID. That's a bare bones soul issue, what it is told. But a human, if you can't trust a human, that's a bare bones soul issue that needs to be worked out in our country. And that was deeply broken in COVID because if you can't trust your neighbor, you can't trust your pastor, you can't trust your teacher, then of course you're going to trust a computer. Why not?
Well, that's just because people lie and manipulate. Everybody is capable of doing it. It doesn't matter what your occupation is. Why do you want me to automatically trust you? You have to earn my trust. What are you talking about?
It'll in our country. Can't trust a human. That's a bare bones soul issue that needs to be worked out.
It's not a soul issue. I'm not a devil. I don't have the demon. I don't have the enemy working inside of me because I don't trust who you are. What are you getting at? How about don't do shady things and I'll trust you more? Right? When I meet somebody, your trust is here because I don't know you. I give you the benefit of the doubt. You work your way down in trust. You lose my trust based off of your own actions. So if you're somebody that I don't trust, it likely didn't just come out of thin air. You probably did some things. So if I don't trust the pastor, maybe we should question the pastor. Erika, if I don't trust you, maybe we should start figuring out why that trust was broken. Why are you trying to define typical human reactions and the thought process of regular things that we go through every single day? Why are you trying to say that we're weird for going through those normal emotions? You break the trust. So now you're the person in question, nobody else. I'm not questioning myself or thinking I have the devil inside me just because I'm supposed to trust you at 100% face value all the time.
Our country. And that was deeply broken in COVID because if you can't trust your neighbor, you can't trust your pastor, you can't trust your teacher, then of course you're going to trust a computer.
No, because guess what? My teacher has lied to me. I haven't used the Pythagorean theorem since I left high school. And they said I was going to need it. My high school teacher said that college was going to be hell. And them teachers ain't going to play. Them teachers quite literally didn't give a crap if I showed up to class or not. Everything that I learned in high school was absolute Ben Shapiro. Someone taught me that the other night. Don't ever say BS again. Just say Ben Shapiro. Because Ben Shapiro is quite literally BS. High school taught me nothing but Ben Shapiro. I didn't learn absolutely anything. History class was dang near a lie. The whole thing, the whole shebang. Social studies, all cap. And here we are. We trusted them. And then when we became adults, we realized y'all lied to us this whole time. Everything that y'all said in high school was cap. So why is she acting like she lives in a different world than we do?
Why not? Out in our country. And that was deeply broken in COVID because if you can't trust your neighbor, you can't trust your pastor.
That's a fact. They say that all the time. You ain't gonna have that calculator when you get to college. Huh? I use the calculator every day. Nobody has ever stripped my calculator away from me. The resources in college was endless. We had everything. The leniency was crazy. But they swore up and down, yo, teachers ain't gonna play when you get to college. Bro, I missed 3 classes straight and nobody ever checked on me. I could have been dead. Nobody ever checked on me. They don't care.
you can't trust your teacher, then of course you're going to trust a computer. Why not? It'll tell you what it wants, what you want to hear. You can create it to be an agent for you of whatever, you're working on. And so that's what we're even noticing, even aside from Turning Point USA, even our Turning Point Action side, with our door knockers and the people that are boots on the ground. We are reestablishing, and this is going back to you guys too, you're reestablishing the human connection point, and you're reestablishing that brokenness that happened in COVID where it's like, I don't trust you because a human would lie to me, but a computer wouldn't. That's not how this works. And
hold on, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I see the chat. What's going on? I did forget, Angela. I got to do that. Rooftop Ministries. I've seen you before, so I don't feel like you spamming. I've seen you before. You've been cool, but what you talking about? Don't be saying stuff like that. That's crazy. Don't be saying stuff like that. Don't be saying stuff like that. I just refreshed my pages just to like make sure, you know what I mean? I ain't tripping. Don't be saying stuff like that, bro. Or ma'am. Sarah Huckabee Sarah Huckabee father ambassador to Philly Club America in schools through TPUSA, Philly connection in our face. Yes. Thank you for donating and supporting the channel. Yes, absolutely. Her and her father, some frauds. Both of them.
so that's why, again, you guys are on the front lines of being able to show these students trust is so important. What I'm telling you is the truth. Sometimes you don't want to hear the truth. I don't know what to tell you, but the truth is the truth, and it will set you free. And so that is why I just want to encourage you guys to really be able to meet and stay connected to one another after you leave this conference and this summit, because once you guys
Hold on, bro. Hold on. I'm peeping the comments. What? It ain't real, right? Y'all, I know, please tell me, y'all. I don't know what's going on. It's distracting me because of how serious it is, but that don't. Okay. All right. I'm just making sure because y'all scaring me, man. Oh my Lord.
go back out into the front lines, it's going to be so easy that one thing someone says or something happens and you're like, man, what am I doing here? But I just want to encourage you, what you're doing is so important, pouring into our students and even pouring into the rest of your faculty, and know that you're in numbers and you're not alone, and that we're here to support you guys with whatever you need resource wise. And we've got your back. I want you guys to know that.
Hopefully Turning Point, they're not gonna hate on me, because they will for sure try to copyright this live because of how much we've been watching it. But we'll see. I don't really care.
Is pleased to bring revival, then maybe it'll really change in our country, and we know that he can do that. But education affects every provides. It's Charles Tech. Thank you, kids, and to our student thoughts about
Talk a lot about your special.
bit about Prep Year. It's our newest that was to all of us and to our students. But I'd love to have you just talk a little bit about Prep Year. It's our newest Turning Point Education Initiative, and just your thoughts about it.
Prep Year's special because it reminds me so much of Charlie's gap year. He would talk a lot about June was our organization's birthday, but he would say, I've taken a 13-year gap year, and this is what he built during that gap year. And so Prep Year is very similar to that. The thing that's so special, those students are phenomenal. Those students are amazing. They're locked in. They're so smart. They're so on fire for learning, and you've done a tremendous job of bringing in amazing speakers for these students to learn from, whether that's economics, whether that's apologetics, whether that's, anyone even in admin. It's been really special to see how these students have been poured into over a short period of only 9 months. But what's so beautiful about those 9 months is that it gives a breathing room moment for those students to say, you know what, I actually do want to go to college. I want to go to a 4-year institution. This is what I actually want to study, so that those funds aren't wasted. Or, I decided I actually don't want to go to college and I want to work for one of the individuals that I met that spoke to us and they can be a mentor to me. Or I want to go and intern or work for Turning Point USA. I mean, selfishly, these are great individuals that we're wanting to hire as well. And it also gives an opportunity for us to connect those individuals to people that are our supporters, that have companies that those students would be great employees for. So it's a really beautiful harmony of bringing in what we have resource-wise to help these students really be able to plan and chart where they want to go to next. But speaking to them and getting to hear their questions, they're so thoughtful. And I'm really excited that we're going to be opening up Chicago here for the fall season, which is amazing.
That's exactly right.
I know.
We started with 34, and we're going to 130 this next year. 50 in Fort Worth, 80 in Chicago. So,
It's amazing. Amazing.
the impact. Is there
Every different
teachers that really had an impact on you, and why was that the case? But I'm just wondering, is there a teacher or teachers that
look back on it, there would be someone from, I would say, every different stage, elementary, middle school, high school, even college. And I think more so for me as well, the interesting part is that all of them were different subject matters. So it wasn't just English and it wasn't just math. It was each different season was a different teacher. For middle school, it was our history teacher. He was amazing. In high school, it was our theology teacher and my math teacher. In college, it was our economics teacher of all people, because that was really not my favorite class, to be honest with you. But he was so good about explaining things. And so he would then be able to have, after hour time with the students.
Man, this school stuff is crazy. Zoe, thank you for the donation and support of the channel and supporting the channel. Love your channel. I just got here. Can I get a recap of what you're talking about? We did Donkey of the Day. That was Brandon Tatum. And then we are going, this is Erika's appearance somewhere in Chicago that she did in these recent days, whether it was today or last night, but it's fairly new, like brand new content that just hit the internet, at least today. So that's all it is. There was no specific topic, I guess, of this conference. It's not like, oh, I'm meeting here to do something with Turning Point USA, Q&A, all of that. It seems like they're introducing some type of education thing, TPUSA education thing going on in Chicago. But she has said a lot of crazy things in his interview. She said that Satan took Charlie. That was absolutely insane. And then she said some other things as well. But that's all it is. We're just watching the robot at work, because anytime the robot has to talk for a very long time, she always slips up. And that's what's going on. I haven't really seen her sit down like this in a very long time, where we can listen to like an hour of her talk, because they really try to keep her out of the spotlight or only limit her to certain, questions. They try to really control her on the mic. This is the first time in a very long time that she has said a lot for this long. So we're just dissecting everything that she's saying. And she's already said some crazy things.
I remember sitting in those classes with these students after hours, just hearing from the teacher in a very, normal way of like, this is how it impacts your life. And
the salami bot, I like it.
Hey, how are you doing here? And hey, I'm going to come to your basketball game. Like really cool things like that of just support. And I'll never forget, again, my mom was a working mom. So she was at the office super late every day. So I was usually the last person to be picked up from school every single day. So I'd be sitting on the bench waiting for her. And, I'd have a teacher or an administrator come by and just sit with me and just talk to me. And it was those little moments that stick with you as a kid where it's like, oh, someone sees me. And someone is taking the time to get to know me or ask me questions or, just spend time with me. And that does not go unnoticed or unappreciated from a student who probably needs it. So I could give you names, sure. But at the same time, I'd like to probably protect their names. Anything I say now is just all over the internet. So I'm like, the last thing I need is for someone to get doxxed or something ridiculous just because I said I love them as a teacher, and then it gets totally spun. I mean, that's how sick this world is right now. But out of protection for them.
It's not sick. You're the one lying about your education. It's not sick. So if you were to name off a college professor, yeah, people are going to look into it because you've already lied. That's the part about trust, remember? That you just wanted people to just automatically, I don't know, trust people 100% of the time, no matter what they do. That's pretty manipulative. I wonder if Charlie thought like that. Maybe that's how you program Charlie, to trust you no matter what you do to him. And he was just taught to just always trust you. Because that's what you're trying to tell us that we should do. And we're not going for it. But yes, whoever you choose to name will be looked up and questioned, not doxxed. Nobody's going to hurt them. But you have been a proven liar about your college years and all of these different awards academically and all of that. It's been straight cap. So yeah, if we can figure out a college teacher that could help us figure out who you were in college, that's what's going to happen. But it's only happening because you lied. Nobody else.
I'll withhold their names, but they're great people. And some of them are alive, some of them are not now because time's passed. But even to those of you who are, teachers by day, but then you also coach the sports by night, or you're involved with the sports side of things at your school. I was a student athlete. Being a student athlete is something that's very unique. And so when a teacher is involved on both ends of that, and you can relate to the student in multiple ways that way, it's also very powerful and impactful. So again, I just want to encourage you guys that what you're doing is so important, and it'll last people for a lifetime. I mean, you guys know your teacher that you loved the most growing up. No one ever forgets that. You'll never forget the first teacher that you had that made you feel inspired to be a writer or to be a teacher. I mean, I'm sure you guys are here today because there was a teacher in your life that you're like, wow, that's why I want to be a teacher, because so-and-so taught me, and I want to be like that to someone else. And so there's just little moments like that of inspiration that I just want to encourage you guys to hold on to, because you're not just speaking to a wall, even though sometimes I'm sure you feel like when you're talking to your students, you're like, are they really listening to anything I'm saying? They are. They're just, probably tired, but they're listening. They're listening.
To your point, I can name the names, I think, of all my teachers from kindergarten, certainly through high school, and probably a lot of my college teachers actually as well, just because, again, speaking to the impact that teachers have.
He'd be like, you have
Arizona State, is that that's often referred to, I think.
Right.
Didn't you attend the Harvard of the Southwest, Arizona State? Is that that's often referred to, I think.
Right. I took a very scenic route when it comes to college. It's so funny because Charlie would look at I went to a lot of different schools, and he'd be like, you have the degrees for the family, so it's fine. But no, correct. So I originally started at Regis University in Denver because I got a basketball scholarship there. So I started there.
Hey, this is interesting. Let's see what she says about her college days.
And then
or college years.
Transferred to at Regis University in Denver because I got a basketball scholarship there. So I started there, and then I transferred to Loyola Marymount for a semester, and then ended up finishing at Arizona State University. So tongue-in-cheek, the Harvard of the West. So
I just thought that's what it did.
You didn't want to mention that double major? Okay. That would have been a perfect time to clarify. That would have been a perfect time to brag about your multiple degrees. I'm just saying, that's a question that's out there on what did you graduate with? I mean, this is a TPUSA education meeting right now, right? Conference, whatever this is. This would have been a great time to talk about your double majors and all this other stuff and how prestigious you are. But hey,
somebody mentioned that earlier.
Not that important to her right now.
Earlier.
For a semester, and then ended up finishing at Arizona State University. So tongue-in-cheek, the Harvard of the West. So
I just thought that's what it was referred to. Somebody mentioned that earlier from Arizona State. So Erika, we associate you so much with the things that we're talking about, but you were Miss Arizona, you're a businesswoman. The Proclaim 365 is a powerful thing. Tell folks here that may not be familiar with some of the business entrepreneurial things that you've done. Yeah. And then Proclaim 365 is phenomenal. I did that last year. It was amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah. So others did too.
Right. So I'll give you kind of a Spark Notes version. I've actually never shared a lot about myself throughout these past 9 months intentionally. There's really no reason that I feel that I need to. But when I was 16, and I was in high school, we were required to do community service hours in order to graduate. And I noticed that a lot of the students were unfortunately either forging those hours or just doing really easy things to just get the hours, and someone would just write off on the hours. I was like, that's so not Christ-like to be not actually doing what you're saying you're doing. So
she finds a way, huh? She finds a way to let everybody know, hey, you aren't holy. I am. You're not.
I decided so not Christ-like to be not actually doing what you're saying you're doing. So I decided to start my own little nonprofit and to be able to bring actual tangible moments of
Right. Why did she have to bring that up? They're kids, bro. Kids lie. Kids do kid things. There's no reason to say that's not Christ-like. Why would you say that? Why are you being weird? I could bring up a lot of things about you that ain't Christ-like.
time to serve with organizations that actually needed the help. So there was really no money involved with it. It was more along the lines of like, hey, here's an organization that is a part of a dog shelter. They need dog walkers, and like connect those people so that there was other options. So I decided to start my own little nonprofit and to be able to bring actual tangible moments of time to serve with organizations that actually needed the help. So there was really no money.
Cap, I can't name a single person. I can't name a single teenager that thought, I want to own a nonprofit. I can't name a single one. Somebody put her on, probably her mother, because her mother is the queen of LLCs, and maybe her long lost cousin, Tyler Boyer. Somebody put her on the nonprofit game. Because ain't nobody coming out of high school, nobody. I can't name a single person, and y'all probably can't name a single person. So think about how many people that is. I can't name a single person that got out of high school and said, I want to start a nonprofit. When I'm getting out of high school, the only thing I'm thinking about is profit. There's no way I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. That great story. I don't believe it.
Involved with it. It was more along the lines of like, hey, here's an organization that is a part of a dog shelter. They need dog walkers, and like connect those people so that there was other options rather than just going to.
I mean, yeah, Charlie Kirk, though, he did his thing, yes. But whoever that old guy was, that super old guy that got Charlie into like the official Turning Point stuff, like, again, somebody talked to Charlie. Charlie might have had a movement, but that old guy started the whole nonprofit big old shebang thing. So I'm saying somebody talked to her too. Somebody talked to Erika.
I don't know, the soup kitchen or something, which there's nothing wrong with the soup kitchen, but I'm just saying, like, give the students other options for them to serve in the community. So I started that when I was younger and just had that throughout high school and college. And then as time went on, I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit within me because I saw my mom build her own company, and she worked a lot with Homeland Security and Department of Defense, and she had her own patents with different risk assessments and stuff like that. So I was her little
Fed. I watched my mama be a Fed.
I guess you could say her intern when she would go to DC and then get to sit in some of these meetings and just hear and see the different ins and outs of how her company operated and worked.
I watched the ins and outs on how to be a Fed so I can grow up to be a Fed.
But when I got to college, yes, I was Miss Arizona USA. Actually, when Donald Trump owned and ran the pageant, it was and then once he no longer owned it, it totally went downhill. But that's a conversation for a different time. But I was very focused. I played basketball since I was 5. So my goal when I was little was to play in college. And I did that. And unfortunately, my knees were not the best fan of me playing college basketball, especially with all the different weightlifting programs we had. So I ended up going a different route and really took the entrepreneurial spirit to heart. And when I was living in Manhattan, I noticed that there's more of a homeless situation there that's more on display than when you're living in, Scottsdale, Arizona.
She still skipped over Arizona State or whatever. She still skipped over that because she still was talking about Regis University when she was playing basketball. And then it didn't work out. So I ended up going the entrepreneur route. You still finished college though. Maybe she went back. I don't know. She's throwing my timeline off right now.
And so at the time, my grandfather was unfortunately passing, and my grandfather and even my grandmother both, but they were just everything to me. Charlie and I had that in common, deeply in common, with our grandparents playing such a huge role in our life. And so I remember going home, and when he passed away, he had a hospital bed next to his bed at home, and I just laid next to him holding his hand, and I just kept reading the book of Ephesians on repeat for him as he just labored breath. I mean, he was in his 90s. He lived a beautiful life, but still. And so kept reading that on repeat. He passed away on a Tuesday at 3:11 p.m. And just to cope with it, I'm sorry if this is not biblical, but I went through every chapter 3, verse 11 thing in the Bible just to be like, just to cope and just read through the Bible. Came across Luke chapter 3, verse 11, and it said, if somebody has, essentially paraphrasing, if somebody has 2 tunics, give one away to the individual in need.
Yeah, facts. I mean, nobody knows why she stopped playing basketball. She only did it for 1 year. And I mean, that's not even a year. Basketball is only 5-6 months, but less than that probably. Because when we started in October, so to like March. Yeah, I mean, it's not that long at all. So like, there's no record. Nobody's. I mean, I'm not giving her the benefit of the doubt, but I haven't heard of an injury of that's what stopped her from playing basketball. So I don't know, man. Someone said she's throwing off her own timeline. Yeah, because she's confusing me a little bit.
And I thought to myself, it's not relevant to why I'm mourning, but I'll clock it and just go on from there. So as I went back to New York after everything was happening, I was on a train going from the city into upstate New York. And
by the way, this is like the most she's ever talked about her life on camera. Dang near ever. Maybe when Charlie was alive, she probably got some interviews out there and stuff like that. But as far as talking about her personal life, I haven't really heard this much. So I'm finally glad to at least hear some of it out of her own mouth, even though it's a whole bunch of Ben Shapiro. But at least I finally get to hear it from her mouth versus like people doing research on it, trying to figure out who is this woman.
I was just finished reading Isaiah chapter 61, verse 1, and it talks about proclaiming the year.
She is 100% being vague. She's not being specific about her life and her timeline and all of these years. She's not being specific at all. She's very vague, and it is obviously concerning.
Of the Lord's favor, and which is also into upstate New York. And I was just finished reading Isaiah chapter 61, verse 1, and it talks about proclaiming the year of the Lord's favor, and which is also essentially showing that Jesus is coming. It was just the prophecy of all that. And anyway, so I clocked that too. And I was like, okay. And then I woke up on that train ride and I was like, you know what? I keep seeing all these homeless people on the side of the street in Manhattan. Like, how can I be helpful for that? Because what's interesting, and those of you who have worked with people who are unfortunately on the street, you can't really just give them new clothes with a massive logo on it. That's usually how they get either jumped for that item or something, is you have to be a little bit more discreet. So I tested this out. I was with my roommate, and one night we walked by and this woman was on the side of the street. It was really cold. She had a super small blanket. So I went back upstairs and I grabbed my comforter. So I'm like walking down with this comforter, and I gave it to her and just had a conversation with her and just.
Yeah, I heard that too. She said she clocked something.
Talk to her again, like human to human, and that trust factor, if you will. And I noticed, and we just had a conversation, and I noticed that more and more as I was walking to work or anything like that in Manhattan, these individuals that were so.
What work was you doing? Come on, be specific. Stop all this vague talk.
Cold with like no sweatshirt or no jacket. So long story short, I was like, look, I love fashion. I understand tech packs. I understand fashion design. I understand all of that. What if there's a way that I can incorporate proclaiming the year of the Lord's favor while also incorporating Luke chapter 3, verse 11, if you have to give one type mentality? And long story short, I talked to one of my dear family friends who is a mentor of mine.
I'll tell you, I got to rewind it just a little bit because, yeah, she's a little, man, she's hard to follow.
So I'm like walking down with this comforter, and I gave it to her, and just, you have to be a little bit more discreet. So usually how they get either jumped for that item or something, clothes with a massive logo on it. That's usually how they get either jumped for that item or something, is you have to be a little bit more discreet. So I tested this out. I was with my roommate, and one night we walked by and this woman was on the side of the street. It was really cold. She had a super small blanket. So I went back upstairs and I grabbed my comforter. So I'm like walking down with this comforter, and I gave it to her and just had a conversation with her and just talked to her again, like human to human, and that trust factor, if you will. And I noticed, and we just had a conversation, and I noticed that more and more as I was walking to work or
Yeah, she's not human. The way she says human all the time, she's not human at all.
anything like that in Manhattan, these individuals that were so cold with like no sweatshirt or no jacket. So long story short, I was like, look, I love fashion. I understand tech packs. I understand fashion design. I understand all of that. What if there's a way that I can incorporate proclaiming the year of the Lord's favor while also incorporating Luke chapter 3, verse 11, if you have to give one type mentality. And long story short, I talked to one of my dear family friends who was a mentor of mine who I told him, I was like, look, we're in the heartbeat of the fashion industry. I would love to be able to make a product sweatshirt, particularly black sweatshirt, unmarked with Isaiah chapter 61, verse 1 Bible verse on it, on the sleeve, to remind them that the Lord is with them, and have it on their sleeve. But I would like to be able to have an individual purchase one. And then once that individual purchases that one sweatshirt, all we're doing is just sweatshirts. They get a second sweatshirt that they can then hand to someone on the street in need, that they can have a conversation with and essentially evangelize, but also just be able to say, hey, I know you're in need. I just am here to give you a piece of clothing, and I want to be able to help you if you need anything resource-wise, or how I can be praying for you. Just have a conversation. Just have a conversation. And so that's how it started. And I remember my mentor looking at me and being like, good luck trying to make that in America. And I was like, you just said the right thing for me, because when anyone says good luck.
Good luck trying to make that in America.
I'm going to America. And that's how it started. And I remember my mentor looking at me and being like, good luck trying to make that in America. And I was like,
Who is your mentor? Good luck trying to make that in America. I don't know what to make of that. Clearly, her mentor is not American. Is Victor Mark's wife American? Who is this lady? Good luck trying to make that in America. What an interesting thing to say.
You just said the right thing for me, because when anyone says good luck, I'm going to go straight forward to that and make it happen. And so I found a great manufacturer in LA.
Let me look up Victor Mark's wife. Eileen Marks. Does anybody know if Eileen Marks is American? Eileen Marks. I'm just trying to see, because we've all been trying to figure out who this mentor was. Y'all remember the story about her going missing for like 9 months with some like weird pastor wife that was teaching her Bible verses. So we have that person that Candace brought up. Then we also have Victor saying that his wife mentored Erika. He said that on the interview with Candace. She's German. I mean, is this might be her. I don't know. It's interesting.
LA, so I make sure everything from Proclaim is made in the United States. We've actually, thank you. we evolved from just black sweatshirts. Originally, people are like, why did you just choose black? Well, for those of you who enjoy history, it was because of the Black Robe Regiment. And that was something that was very dear and dear to my heart for the preacher standpoint of things, of being able to get the word of God out in a way like that. And so it all started out just being black. And then I remember Charlie coming with me one time to my manufacturer to pick up these loads of sweatshirts. And he was just like, what is this? I was like, and it was fun because he was an entrepreneur in his own right. And I'm an entrepreneur in mine. So we could always just have these conversations back and forth of what we're building and where we're at. And I would have him try on different sweatshirts and bomber jackets and t-shirts. And I'd be like, what do you think of this? And he'd be like, well, I'm not into fashion, but I really like it. And I was like, well, great. Like, I like your opinion because you're not in my echo chamber. So I want your opinion on how things work. And if it's, function for built for life. Anyway, so we've expanded over the course of, gosh, it's 10 years now that I've had Proclaim, but I built it in a way where I knew that once I got married and entering that season of life, and once I had my children, I wanted to be fully focused on my husband, my children, and just our family. And so I was able and blessed enough to build something that I could have self-sustained, operating on its own, so that I could.
You had no sales, bro. What are you talking about? Of course, it operated by itself. Nobody bought anything. Therefore, nothing was being shipped out.
Then be with my kids all the time. If I wanted to pop into meetings, I could. If I wanted to create all the different, designs that we have, I got to. I was very blessed to be in a position where I worked really hard to make it to what it was, and then I could go and spend time with my family in that new season of life. And so we still have it. We incorporated a portion of the give back factor as Bible in 365, where you read a Bible cover to cover in a year. That's the most important part, because once COVID hit, it was no longer here's your second sweatshirt to give to someone in need, because I didn't want someone to get jumped, to be honest with you. During COVID, things got really kind of sideways with interactions with people, and the people were wearing masks, not wearing masks, became a whole thing. I said, I do not want the liability of that. Instead, our give back factor will be the gospel standpoint of like, hey, when you purchase something from us, the proceeds of that go straight into our Bible in 365 program, where you do get to read the Bible cover to cover. We have the community of Bible in 365 all together, and it's really special. We have Pastor James Cadiz from California, who is our pastoral advisor for that. And so to me, the mission of bringing in the gospel tied into something as simple as an item of clothing really proves the point of you don't have to be super outlandish to build something for the Lord. If you have your spirit in check of like, what I'm doing is greater than myself, and keeping that the sole focus, profit doesn't matter. That was never a thing. What matters to me is that people are hearing the gospel. I don't care if I'm losing money by manufacturing in the USA. I said this to my mentor in the beginning, because he was like, go to China, you'll be able to make more profit. I said, I don't care about the profit. I care about.
She said he that time. Why is everybody getting jumped? I don't know why she keeps saying that. I don't know, man. I don't know. This woman I'm so glad there's only 6 minutes left. She's just destroying my IQ. She's destroying my brain listening to her talk.
The soul's mentor in the beginning, because he was like, go to China, you'll be able to make more profit. I said, I don't care manufacturing in the USA. I said this to my mentor in the beginning, because he was like, go to China, you'll be able to make more profit. I said, I don't care about the profit.
Who was that mentor? That was a man. She said he. That's interesting. I haven't heard that perspective or that angle yet of her having a man as a mentor. All we know is two ladies. One was Victor Mark's wife. The other was that weird lady that Candace brought up that Erika disappeared with for like 9 months. So this is another mentor that is a man in her life at the beginning stages of her Proclaim streetwear. So we might need to start doing some homework because that is interesting. I haven't heard that before.
Care about the souls.
Said probably JE. I don't know. I don't know, but we know it's a man.
So if I'm able to make sure that we are able to spread the gospel, that means way more to me. So that's the very long but Spark Notes version of the entrepreneurial spirit that has collided with everything else in between.
That's a good Uncle Rick. I can see that. The fraudster himself.
It's really beautiful. And I really do commend Proclaim 365 as a Bible reading plan. I was amazed how good it was. It was just not because you did it, but I mean, just that it was.
No,
just,
you're
I mean,
sweet.
no,
Look,
I mean,
here's the truth: is that when you start reading the Bible, a lot of Bible plans die in the Old Testament because a lot of people are like, I am at Leviticus and we're done. So what we do is we do Old Testament and New Testament, Psalms and Proverbs, and we switch off between Psalms and Proverbs. And we do it in that way because it only takes 10 to 11 minutes of your day. That's it. It's not 2 hours. I would encourage you 2 hours to be with the Lord, but it's 10 to 11 minutes of you just reading the gospel. And the thing is that we tie in the Old and the New Testament together. So what you're reading connects and you're not just reading things out of context. Context is everything when you're reading scripture. And so for us, not only do we have that provided to you, but we have resources and also commentaries so that you...
See, it's funny how she says context is everything, but then she allowed that Dana woman to get up there and just read off every single Bible verse that had widow in it. You know, the widow, that woman provided zero context. And I'm just thinking, for someone that is like Erika Franzve, who is just so in tune with the word, that's always in the jet stream of God's will, I would assume that she'd be like, bro, don't get up there and preach. Like, don't get up there and do that. Don't get up there and just read 20 Bible verses that got widow in it and don't explain what the context is for that Bible verse. You know, what was being said, who was talking, who were they talking to, what was the context in that story. I would assume somebody like Erika would explain that to Dana. That way Dana don't go up there and make a fool of herself. But no, clearly it's fine to do that. So what are you talking about, Erika? You don't even hold the people around you to that standard.
Understand what you're reading, and you're not just like, why am I saying all these names I can't pronounce and this is irrelevant? It actually is relevant. You just have to dig deeper. And so we really encourage that. And we also, the reason why we have a pastoral advisor connected to it is because I want these individuals to be able to have a pastor to reach out to that can say, hey, Pastor James, what does this mean? So we do our monthly Q&A to answer any questions that are there. But this is to be, again, a resource to individuals to make that easy, that process easy of reading the Bible, because there is nothing more important than God's word. And that is your sword against all of the principalities. And so as long as you have that and you understand how important scripture is, everything else is, icing on the cake.
I love it. It's so powerful. And I do recommend it to each and every one of you. Last question, Erika. So these precious folks, they're going back to Canada. They're going back to California, of all places, Texas, all over the country. And a lot of times, and for many, going back to hard situations. I know summer, there's a little bit of a respite, but as you've said, and we've said, it's a great calling, but it's not necessarily an easy calling. And it's a calling of great opportunity, but there's also a lot of challenges. What would you say as kind of a final word to these dear friends who are trying to make a difference and are making a difference, but how can they continue on? What would you say to them as they go back?
Well, quite frankly, I'm glad for you that it's not easy because that shows that you're doing something. If it was easy, then you're just going with the flow of the stream. I'm grateful because it gives you the opportunity to lean on the Lord and count it all joy when it's tough. It makes you do.
She about to lose me, man. What is she talking about? What is the question and what are you saying?
Difference and are making a difference, but how can they continue on? What would you say to them as they go back? What would you say as kind of a final word to these dear friends who are trying to make a difference and are making a difference, but how can they continue on? What would you say to them as they go back?
So how can they make a difference or impact their community, I guess? What are some words of wisdom for them? That's the question.
Well, quite frankly, I'm glad for you that it's not easy because that shows that you're doing something. If it was easy, then you're just going with the flow of the stream. I'm grateful because it gives you the opportunity to...
I'm trying to follow her, man. She's frying me. Like, I don't even smoke, and she got me tweaking right now.
Lean on the Lord, then you're just going with the flow of the stream. I'm grateful because it gives you the opportunity to lean on the Lord and count it all joy when it's tough. It makes you learn even more about why you are convicted of what you believe in and what you're sharing. And it gives you that moment of realizing, like, hey, I'm alive. I have this one life. I have this one moment to impact this generation. And it is tough, but I would much rather it be tough here on earth than in eternity. And I would much rather it be one of those moments where you can, you know that what you're doing is making an impact, even though it might seem days that it's not.
What?
But and it's alive. I have this, and it gives you that moment of realizing, like, hey, I'm alive. I have this, and learn even more about why you are convicted of what you believe in and what you're sharing. And it gives you that moment of realizing, like, hey, I'm alive. I have this one life. I have this one moment to impact this generation. And it is tough, but I would much rather it be tough here on earth than in eternity. And I would much rather it be one of those moments where you can, you know that what you're doing is making an impact, even though it might seem days that it's not, but it is. And heaven's watching. And what's more important is that you know that you're using your one life to impact others, but also for the kingdom. And you're using your one life to make such a difference, just like Charlie, because each and every one of you have your own legacy. Yes, we're under the banner of Turning Point USA. And yes, we have Charlie's legacy.
What are you talking about? I just want to raise my hand in the back and say, ma'am, what the freak are you talking about? What are you saying? The question was, I don't even know what the question was. What are some words of wisdom for the people who are impacting their community? And you're telling me heaven is watching me. What are you talking about? Oh my gosh, bro. What are you saying? What do you mean heaven is watching me? I'm just impacting the community. I'm just doing what I can. I'm just helping kids, right? Not in your way. Not in your way. Heaven was watching you too when you were doing it in that way. I'm doing it the legal way, the regular way. But what did we get to talking about heaven is watching me, bro? What are you talking about?
See that we are, and you're using your one life to make such a difference, just like Charlie, because each and every one of you have your own legacy. Yes, we're under the banner of Turning Point USA. And yes, we have Charlie's legacy that we are all so deeply touched and impacted by, but you have your own also. And his is inspiring yours and your future children's. And I want to encourage you that, yes, it is tough, but someone's watching you that's being encouraged by your spirit. That could be your niece. That could be your nephew. That could be a student that is so quiet in your classroom that you really have no idea if they're paying attention or not, and they are. And one day that kid might become the president. That kid might become, a Charlie Kirk, an entrepreneur in its own right.
No. Andrew Covett said it himself. You will never, he told that one person, you will never be a Charlie Kirk. There will never be another Charlie Kirk. That's what your people said.
That could be your nephew. That could be a student that is so quiet in your class, your spirit. That could be your niece. That could be your nephew. That could be a student that is so quiet in your classroom that you really have no idea if they're paying attention or not, and they are. And one day that kid might become the president. That kid might become, a Charlie Kirk, an entrepreneur in its own right. I know it's tough, but count it joyful. Count it joyful, because it's showing that you are living in a time and a day and age that's intentionally not easy, because the devil knows that he's running out of time and this is his domain. And he would love nothing more than...
Dog, look at her eyes when she said that. I got to slow this down.
For you, and that's intentionally not easy, because the devil knows that he's running out of time and this is his domain.
Look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh my Lord. I think the devil might had a microphone. I'm just saying. I think he might be in the room with us. Cause I don't feel comfortable with you telling me that. I just don't. That's crazy.
And the devil knows that he's running out of time and this is his domain.
Oh my gosh.
And he would love nothing more than for you to retreat and to return to him your territory. And
What? I'm not even finna calculate what she just said.
so I just ask and to return to him your territory. And so
She don't even know what she just said.
So I just ask and pray that you reclaim it and you continue to claim it. And yes, when it's tough, you contact someone here that you made friends with. You contact Huts. You contact me. I don't care. If you need just a pep in your step of something, but just know that what you're doing is so important and it really is making a difference. And I am just so thankful to God for each and every one of you for understanding, again, life is short. Do what you can with what the Lord has blessed you with, because when it's all said and done and you do get to heaven, I want you guys to be able to say, God, I did everything I could with what you blessed me with.
Listen. You might need a little something, Erica. You've been on. I rebuke you. You've been on my screen way too much tonight. You need it. You need it. Get off my stage. All of that enemy talking, whatever you saying, get off my stage. I think you brought him in the room. And you know what? Whatever buddy name is across from her, I need to see you outside, because ain't no way you just brought that energy upon me tonight for no reason. That's something wrong with it. Look at how she looking right now.
And there's nothing that I have left. I did it all. And I did everything I could. When it's all said and done and you do get to heaven, I want you guys to be able to say, God, I did everything I could with what you blessed me with, and there's nothing that I have left. I did it all. And I know that you guys will do that very well.
Oh my
when
Lord.
You guys go back into your community and your spaces, and we've got your back, like I said before. So
Amen. Amen. Erika, Kirk, thank you so.
Dude. Nah. And then this is the last thing I'll say about her too on this video, man. I'm so over the whole, this world is so evil and it's such a struggle, and the enemy is after us and blah blah blah. Lady, you literally are a millionaire. She is like the white Whoopi Goldberg. You are not struggling. You quite literally are a grifter. You live in a mansion. You fly private jets. We are not the same. You aren't bothered with inflation. You are literally set for life. Let's stop the whole, the enemy is after us. He wants to take everything that we have. You literally are a millionaire off of other people's tax-paying dollars. That's the organization. Then you also have millions from your dead husband that we can kind of question if you had a role in that. Then you're a millionaire off of people donating directly to you because they felt bad for you. You have it all. You quite literally have it all. You run a criminal organization and you get millions for it. Millions. And she will sit here and continue to preach this struggling, this struggling message. Oh, I was raised by a single mom. No, you wasn't. You had a daddy your whole life. Your whole life, you had a dad. Oh, the struggle with the money. Your mom had hella money. You was in the Hamptons before you even really got with Charlie for real. You always had money from the nonprofit world. Now you got hundreds of millions of dollars. And I don't even think that's a real job you got. that nonprofit world that they in right now. That's not no real work. We out here clocking in, clocking out with our real work, struggling, doing what we do. Not, you know what I mean? I'm blessed, absolutely blessed. But I'm saying in comparison to what their lifestyle is, I'm not flying G5 everywhere I go. I'm driving my Kia everywhere. And when I get to the gas pump, because gas is so high right now, the gas pump is taking $40. No matter what the gas price is, it's $40. That's all you're getting out of me. Imagine $75,000 coming out of my pocket for a PJ. I'm not giving the gas pump more than $40 because I got to go the rest of my days, the week, penny pinching because eggs cost this much. Because groceries 5 years ago, I used to load up the whole house and it'd be $150, maybe less than that. Now I go buy the same thing and it costs $250. But you get to go spend $75,000 on a one-way ticket on a G5. Yeah, for sure. We're not the same. Okay, we're not the same. You're a millionaire. It's the same BS that Whoopi Goldberg do when she be talking about how she's the struggling black woman. And I'm like, dude, you're a millionaire too. You're a millionaire as well. Shut up talking about we just don't relate at all. And the more she tried to do that, making it seem like they relate, bro. Y'all hosted some dinner at Mar-a-Lago, and it was like 10,000, 20,000, something like that per plate or something like that when Erika hosted it. We are not the same. So stop acting like this world is so evil as you get to take advantage of all the loopholes. You have $1 million mansions, probably cars, planes, and it's from the government loopholes. You take advantage of all of that. Like Barron said, you're a welfare queen. You are a welfare queen. You take advantage of all of that. But you're going to preach to everybody that this is the enemy's playground. Okay, so give it back. Give your mansion back. Give it to somebody else. How about that? Give it to somebody else. Give your private jet to somebody else. Don't take any more donations. Like we said, moving forward, the only box that will be checked off on them donation letters that y'all be sending out is I'm going to be praying for you. That's it. Nothing else. No money. That's all you going to get. Because for some reason, we got to hear about y'all getting millions of dollars a year. A year. Hundreds of millions. And we got to sit here and listen to her struggle story. Let me show y'all something real quick before we get out of here. Now, y'all let me know. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Y'all let me know the last time y'all touched this type of money. This is the struggling widow, right? This don't even count for the money they made after Charlie. The money they made after Charlie was absolutely insane. But this is the struggling widow. $84 million. 81 million. 80 million. 55 million. 39 million. Where's that one from last year? $84 million again. Look at that. Other revenue, $266 million. salaries, other compensation, employee benefits, 21 million. Look at their expenses. Expenses. They're spending 45 million. And their students work for free. While they spend 45 million. Total expenses, 80 million. We are not the same. We are not the same. This is, we talked about this before on a Yappisode, where it's like the rich people, not all of them, but most of them, the rich people are in, and I think I just seen somebody comment that. Where'd it go? There it is. She's technically poor and rich people land. That's literally what I was about to say. The rich people take advantage of all the poor people resources. And it's like a loophole. So she gets to get everything for free. Government assistance and all of that. But they bank on that stuff. They get millions from it. That same thing that we was talking with Luigi with the healthcare situation. The guy that murdered the healthcare person or whatever. And we just talking about how like the healthcare industry is a fraud, is a scam. How they deny, I think Barron posted about that too, how his daughter, they denied her services for her giving birth, and they denied the whole thing. These rich people take advantage of the loopholes in our system. The loopholes were created for them. Matter of fact, I don't want to say they're taking advantage of it as if this is something that wasn't created for them. They created this system for these rich people to get away with all this stuff while collecting millions and billions. And they quite literally eat off of normal people. So Erika, as she preaches this whole poor devil's playground, enemy's playground, enemy, devil, enemy, all this other stuff, she gets to collect money from us. She gets to collect money from hardworking people while she goes out and then preaches that this is all the enemy's territory and none of this is coming to heaven with us. Okay, so how about you spread the wealth? You get to live in the mansion, take care of your employees. That governor that gave Turning Point USA $1 million for Club America, talking about let's push for Club America to be in every high school, blah, blah, blah. That government official wasn't doing that for the kids. If he wanted to help kids so bad, he would have took that $1 million and split it however many ways for those kids and say, here you go, bro, some extra cash. Matter of fact, here you go. Here's a start to your college fund. But they didn't do that, did they? But I thought it was about the kids. He took that $1 million and he gave it directly to Turning Point USA. Why? That money not going to go to them kids. They don't even get paid at Club America. They've been exposed for fake chapters. But what is that politician getting in return by giving Turning Point USA $1 million? It's just forever going cycle, bro. And it's just so annoying. It's so annoying. And I can go all night about it's a whole nother thing, just because I just can't stand politicians that try to do that, bro. They try to just play this card like, oh, we're all the same. And, I grew up with a single mom too. And, blah, blah. And they're just sitting there lying, bro. They're just sitting there lying to your face, trying to get you to like them, to think that we're the same, we're relatable, all the other stuff. No, we're not. We're not. But I don't know. It's absolutely crazy. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. I appreciate y'all for sticking all the way through, because that was a tough one. But a lot of things definitely was said that absolutely blew my mind. So I'm glad I got to watch that through and through and not just see clips of it. So I appreciate y'all for sticking all the way through. Make sure you guys hit the like button again before we get out of here. Make sure you hit the sub button if you are new to the channel. We are on the road to 23K, and I appreciate all the support along the way. And make sure you turn your notifications on as well, so that way you can be notified for the next Yappisode. What is tomorrow? Saturday? Maybe. I don't know. That's why you just got to turn them on. I don't have any like definitive schedule yet. It's just not Wednesdays. We definitely don't go live on Wednesdays. That's cardio nights. But any other night of the week is up for grabs. So make sure you turn your notifications on, so that way you can be notified when that live goes out earlier in the day. And outside of that, I hope you have a great night. Beautiful Saturday coming up. And I will see y'all on the next one.